Okay, this is a video tutorial to show off a tool that I found that was I'm really excited about. It's called Class Dojo. And again, if you just go to classdojo.com or Google search it, it'll come up. And basically what this is a um, behavior tracking, work skills tracking tool. It's designed really for elementary schools, and you'll see the look is very elementary, but it can have applications in a lot of different ways, and is really quite interesting. So if you're going to go in the first time, you would just click here to say try it out, but I'm going to log in because I've already tried it. And you'll notice here that students, parents, and teachers can log in, and I'll let you know what that means in a bit. So let me just close this. So when you go in for the first time, you're going to create a class, and it will give you a lot of, there's a tutorial that'll show you point by point what to do. But basically you can create your own class, and we'll walk you through that point. So I would add a new class. I'm going to select the year, and you can select what grade it is. So we'll just say grade 9. You can select any of the subjects that come up, and again, this can be another, it really doesn't matter, but let's just say that it's literature. And then you can name your class, and I'm just going to call it HoPE test. And then you can go to next. Now, what you can do here, this is interesting, you can start adding students' names, or you can actually copy paste an entire list. So you could find a list of your students. We can get it off of Webmarks, and there's ways to do that. Or you can just put them individually. So I'm going to put a few here. Let me just put a couple. And that will create characters along the way for you. And you can create those characters. Now these avatars, these characters, will, and you'll notice that it even picks up the gender, or tries to pick up the gender, and it'll give you a color code. But again, these can be changed by the students afterwards. And you can, for each one of them, you can choose an avatar and change the avatars, and you can make it something else, and go that way with it if you wish. But let's just go forward from there. So now we're going to go on to the next thing. So here's the behaviors. So basically what you're going to do is you can pick and choose and create your own behaviors, both positive and negative. And you see the red, obviously. But for instance, in high school, the way I was thinking of using this is there's all those, the learning skills at the end of the report card that are hard to track. And they've tried to do it with things before, but I've never seen a really good one. So possibly this is a way to do that. So what you might even want to do is add your own and put one in, like self-regulation is one of the ones that we have. So you could put that in, and then you can change this to something. So self-regulation, let's just say that that's this one, and save it. So you can create your own. You can take ones out. You can click to edit it. You can just delete it, saying I don't need that helping others one. But you could have basically your 6 learning skills here, and then track those. And then the negative ones could be, you know, if it's self-regulation, you could say lack of regulation, and then save that. Or it could be stuff like bullying or those sorts of things. So even close that. And now what you could do is you could download student invitation codes. So again, it goes step by step. So print out and hand in. So I'm just going to download these, and we'll see what it looks like. So what it basically looks like here is you can print these out for everyone in your class. So it will create these for your class, and it'll say, here, Matt, you can check your progress at home. So they would go to the site, they would load in themselves, put their own email address, and then it would say, it got it right here. Go that, either log in if you're existing here, or create a new. And when you create your new, you would enter this code, and it will enroll them in the class. And they're already in on your side, but this is how they would see it. So it's amazing. It comes up with these invitations that you could print off, or you could just send the information to them. So it does that for you. This way they can check their status. And then you'll notice you'll have here. So you could have one of these for each of your classes. So let's just start one here. So we're starting a HoPE class. And you're seeing here that there's all the students would be listed in your class. And you could have this on your computer at the front of the class or wherever you are, and you could, if you were, let's say the students were doing group work and you wanted to comment on their learning skills, you could click on Mary and then you could say, okay, I want to give her a point for self-regulation. So if you click on that, click on self-regulation, you'll notice it'll come up and 1 point will go there. If you go over to Josie and say Josie's actually been negative because Josie is bullying someone, you put that and you'll notice there it's a little sound effect, minus points. Here's one of the really interesting parts of it, and I can't really show you, but there's actually an iPhone and an Android app for this. So you can be walking around your class, essentially. Let me just get back in on my phone. I just want to make sure that I can, because we just created a class, I got to reload it on my phone. But you can basically use your phone or an iPad and be able to walk around the class and add points as you're going. So I'm just going to bring it up on my phone so that we have everything together. Here's my class. And so as I'm walking through, it's got a scroll down of the list, and I could just do something like Matt, he's on task. So you heard that in the background. So as I'm walking around with my phone, I can create this. So I don't have to be sitting at a computer. I can literally have my phone or my tablet, walk around the class, and plug in away points and things like that. So, wow, great. That's really great. What can you do with that, though? So let's just end the class, and I'll show you what you can do with it. It will create a report for you as you're going. So here's the whole class, and it's saying, for this day, or this week actually, so you could click today, you can break it down, and today there was 1 bullying incident, there was 1 on-task incident, and 1 self-regulation. The green is obviously the good ones, and then you could do a trend spotting to say where are we. This is Thursday, this is where we are, so you could track your trends. Also, you can track individual students, so you could see what was Josie doing. So she had a tough day because she had some bullying there. So there wasn't anything positive there, but there was some negative stuff there. So you can see that. So you can break it all down and go through it. The great thing about it is students can log in and just see themselves, or parents can log in. So if you go to parent logins, you can actually type in a parent's email related to their student, if you get this from them, and then you could send them their access code. So basically it will look exactly the same, but it'll be a little invitation that you can get that says, if you go to this code, to this URL and put in this code, you will have access to your child Matt's class Dojo profile. And they can see how they're doing up to the second. This is all real time, and they can see how they're doing that day. They can see how they're doing throughout the course of weeks, and they would have access to those same reports, but based on what you're seeing. So if you want to keep them in the know, you can do that. And again, this creates these this week, this month. It'll do a month-long one for people. It's phenomenal, really, and you can print them out. So this is where you could, at the end of a term or at the end of the semester, be really able to account for the learning styles, those learning skills, those 6 at the end. You can have some backup for what you're putting there. And you can make a scale and say if there's this many percentage points, it's an N or an S or G or whatever you want to do with it. So it's totally free. It takes literally a couple seconds to set it up, and then you're ready to go. This is something that can be used to justify possibly having an iPad or those sorts of things. So just a thought. Keep it in mind. Thanks, guys.